For the last, say, 2 years, times were really difficult for me.
We're all making money, all of us.
Money became not so important to me anymore, so my values changed.
I felt like you knew what was coming though.
I can tell you about going on holidays and having yachts and throwing yacht parties, and I can tell you about driving Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces and everything else, but
You spoke about having a period where people would have said you was going mad.
people might say, yeah, you're a madman here, blah, blah, blah. They say all these things, but I'm a madman that's made it.
I know it's a topic that I can't sit here and talk to you and not touch on.
I've got funds, I've got money, but all the money in the world couldn't speed it up. And so in the end, all I was doing, I was just throwing money at a court case. You know?
We can't skip past statements like that. When you say addiction of success.
And I'm telling you how the crypto changed my life. I've seen money do too many bad things.
Yes.
You know, I've got too many scars on my back. I've had friendships that just, you know, that I thought were friendships, and it turns out they're not friendships. It was just all about the money.
Yeah.
You know, and so I learned a lot in the last 2 years. Who comes and knocks on my door and sees who I am, sees how I am, not the people that I give money to.
I can tell you love the game. You love the hustle. Like, you don't have to do none of this.
I'm the first ever black man to ever own a holiday park. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
£21,000 that you gave me to get 3 apartments. I've now got 20 apartments.
Yo, my people, it's your boy Tris Taylor. I'm back with another episode of the Brand Therapy Show, where we discuss businesses, brands, and experiences in a therapeutic fashion. Another episode from the UK lap. And without further ado, you can probably see right now in the camera, I got my brother Flomsie with me. Floms, my guy, how are you, my brother?
Yeah, I'm doing well.
Always a pleasure. Appreciate you as always. I think the way to sort of set this off is like our last one went triple platinum in these podcast streets. Yeah, if that was an album, we would have charted. But no, honestly, just to review back to the last time we spoke on camera, like it was 2021. Life was a lot different for yourself, a lot different for myself. It was all different, man. The whole setting was different. We discussed a lot more. It was a big crypto period, so we kind of started heavily on the crypto. And I'm not gonna bore them all with like the intro of you, because if someone follows me at this point, whether it was through me, Grow Daily, podcast, I've always platformed and championed your content, so they should know who you are by now. Yeah. And obviously yesterday we had the headline show that you showed, dropped a few lines and then got out of there. But yeah, bro, how are you, bro, man? How are you, man?
I'm do you know what? I'm finally happy.
Love
Do you know
that.
what I'm saying? I'm at a happy place in my life. For the last, say, 2 years, times were really difficult for me due to my personal situation, not seeing my son. So I went through a massive transition in life where, you know, you start looking at the world different. You start looking at people different. You know, money became not so important to me anymore, so my values changed.
Yeah.
And yeah, I became more aware, more woke, you could say.
Yeah.
And I was stuck in a tunnel, real dark tunnel, dark place. And, you know, I've finally been released and I'm at the end of the tunnel now and I'm happy, you know?
Do you feel like a lot of your unhappiness, and obviously we've started deep, but like I said, we're not gonna go back, we're gonna go forward.
Yeah.
Do you feel like a lot of no, in fact, before I say that, when we spoke before, you touched on traumas as a child, undoing, mom, university situations, first job, and you touched on pain, but was Junior born then? Or he was about to be?
No, he wasn't born then. No,
okay,
so,
cool.
But he was on the way.
Yeah, he was on the way.
But yeah, it's like I touched on all of that, and
I felt like you knew what was coming though.
Yeah, I did know what was coming.
Remember the conversation we had at the Nando's? Like, I felt like you knew,
I knew
stress was coming, basically.
Yeah, I knew. But do you know what? I'm a strong believer in like that your fate is kind of already written. So I believed that this was already in my path, and I believed that I was at a point in my life, especially like business, everything's always gone to plan. You know, didn't start off that way. Obviously, everything was always difficult, but eventually, everything, you know, it just anything I would do would just work, you know? So it got to a point where I always knew, especially now that I'm out of the tunnel, I always knew that that something was coming. You know, I remember I watched the Jay-Z interview before. I always talk about Jay-Z. We've done it in the last
I think
time.
we did last one as well.
But Jay-Z, I remember he had like he was talking to like the rappers that was under Rockefeller. And he said in the studio, he said, listen, you guys need to start releasing your music now because there's a storm coming, yeah? And they was like, what do you mean a storm's coming? And they said, look, there's a new guy coming, 50 Cent. He's coming. And when he comes, no one, don't even bother releasing anything. He's going to take over, you know? And so I compare it to that in the sense that it's like I knew that a storm was coming, but all my life I've known a storm was coming. So even since I was in my teenage years, when I first started my entrepreneurship and I'm trying to save money and even everything that I preach and that I put out there to the world, to say that, listen, save your money, smart investments, money management is so important. More important than making the money is the money management, you know, and to save for a rainy day. I'd always talk about that. If you go through all my previous posts, previous tweets, whatever, it's always about judgment day is going to come. And when that judgment day comes, if you're not strong, if you haven't got stuff put in place, you're going to get wiped out. And then when you get wiped out, you have to start again.
You used to say that a lot in crypto as well.
Yeah. Same with the crypto, you know. And so it's always about thinking long term. So in a way, it was like I always knew that something was going to happen to me. I just didn't know what was going to happen to me, but there was going to be a real test in my life. And that test was obviously going through a situation where I wasn't seeing my child, you know, and that broke me. And but at the same time, what I will say is luckily, because of everything that I'd done work-wise, saving my money, making smart investments, it allowed me to have those 2 years off, you know? So those 2 years when I was like laying in bed with my legs not working and I'm just posting every day, just like that I'm under attack, then I was going crazy, you know? And so those 2 years, and so even like anyone that knows me, thank you for putting up with me, you know, because I'd lost it, you know.
Was that your first? Because I remember you spoke about, last time we spoke, you spoke about having a period where people would have said you was going mad.
Yeah.
And I think that was before you started maybe doing well. So if you're comparing the two, that was a dark period, but probably a different chapter in your life.
Yeah.
What made this one more intense or feel more severe?
What made this one feel more severe was that one, like the love for your child, you know, like when you have a child, it's an amazing feeling, and you can't even explain it. You can't explain your love for a child, you know. Obviously, when we spoke last time in the podcast, I would speak about what money has done to me, in the sense that, you know, people want to be around you, but they're not genuine. You know, you question friendships, you question relationships. You know, it really makes you like numb. You know, like, so you never know who you can trust. You know, so these are like, don't get me wrong, we can talk about, and I can tell you about the great stuff.
No, we're going to cut the crap
that finances have done for me, that, you know, that doing well in life has done for me. I can tell you about living in the clouds. I can tell you about going on holidays and having yachts and throwing yacht parties. And I can tell you about driving Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces and everything else. But it's not and anyone in that position will always say it's not as good as what you think it's gonna be like, you know?
Yeah.
So sometimes, for me, it's like, even though everything that I've done, it's all been a tick box exercise. So it's just like, I needed that because I needed to tick the box, because when I was young, when I was a kid, this is all I ever wanted. Like, this was everything. This meant everything to me. I had to make it. As a youngster, I used to run up to people. If I saw someone in a Ferrari, I'd go up to them, excuse me, what have I got to do to get a car like that? You know, so this stemmed from when I was like 9 years old. I was approaching people, just looking for direction in life.
Where do you think that came from? Sorry to cut you, but
so where did it come
looking
from?
at that whole stopping for
okay, so-
Ferraris and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
so it came from because obviously I don't know how I realised that they were the nice things in life, Ferraris and supercars and big houses and so on. But like, I remember I always used to say to my mum, because I never used to understand money, and my mum would never speak about money, you know, so she's never been that way inclined. So I would say to her, like, Mum, I remember I saw a big house, big mansion. It was in the papers, and I said to my mum, I said, Mum, look, I found this property. I said, I rang her up while she was at work, so I knew her work number by heart. I said, Mum, I found this house, like, I found the solution, I'm gonna save us, because I thought that where we were living, we were just living because it was like, that's all my mum knew. But I was letting her know that, listen, look, I know where you can get better places, where you can live in a bigger house. So I'm telling her, I'm like, Mum, this is the number. And she's like, we'll speak about it when I get home. I'm like, okay. She's come home. I'm like, look, Mum, I found it in the new shop. This is the number. This is who you need to call. And I just thought it was easy as that, you know, because I didn't understand about money in a sense. And she never called, and I would always be like, why haven't you called? Like, why are we still living where we are, you know? Why are we still living like this? It's a dirty place, you know what I'm saying? And so I was confused. I was really confused as a child. And after that, when I started realizing that, look, we can't have these things, then I was like, all right, well, if I've got to go out and get it, then one way or another, I'm going to get it. And yeah, I always knew that it was research, you know. I always vision, but I always knew that it's about what you know, so what you can discover. So that's why I would approach different people, say, what do you do for a living? So I wanted to be a stockbroker at first, because a guy I approached in a place called Mottingham in southeast London, he was in a red Ferrari, and I said, what do you do for a living? He said, he's a stockbroker. I said, all right, I want to become a stockbroker then, that's what I'm going to do. So how do I do it? He said, oh, you got to study. I said, all right, I'm going to study then. The next thing I see another guy in a Ferrari, a red Ferrari, a guy called Banks, he's called G-Bank. And I approached him. I was like 16. I said, what'd you do? He said, he's a mortgage broker. I said, all right, I'm going to become a mortgage broker. And it was always like that. I was always changing, because I'd always see different people in different cars.
Did you
People
give
would
any
say
of those things time? Like, did you, for example, mortgage broker, did you spend time on it, or did you just switch up? Furthermore, are you even subscribed to my channel? You're sitting here about to watch this episode full of gems, and you're about to learn everything you need to learn to level up and build a brand for yourself. But are you subscribed to this channel? If not, click the subscribe button, click the bell notification, and you will never miss another episode of this again.
I switched off, but at the same time, what I would do is I would look into these things, even like at 16, all right, so what does a mortgage broker do? What's the type of salary that a mortgage broker earns? How do you become a millionaire mortgage broker? You know, same way I'd approach people that say they're property developers. So I'd always write everything down. I was always just, you have to follow the money, you know? You got to follow the money. And so that's how I was channeled. And eventually, it's when I read Rich Dad, Poor Dad. That was the main book that really changed my life. That was the one that switched me on and said, I'm reading the book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Everything that they're saying about the poor dad was the life that I was living. And then everything that they said about the rich dad, I was like, I need to find, this is the life I need to find. So then I ended up getting with a girl who, her father was wealthy, very wealthy. They had a company that would sharpen knives, and so they would go to all the restaurants. All the restaurants like all over the UK, they go and replace their knives, sharpen their knives, and then replace them and take them back to their factory, sharpen them again, and then It was like a rental service, knife renting service for restaurants. And just from having her as my girlfriend, I was able to get and be welcomed into the house. I was able to get an insight into how the rich live. You know? So what would then happen is in the book of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, everything that was saying that how rich dad was exactly how the father was. Do you know what I'm saying?
So you're seeing similarities.
Yeah, so then from there I was like, all right, I need to, this is the life I want to live, you know? And things turned out. I followed the rules and became the rich dad. Now I'm a rich dad, you know?
All right, cool. That's cool, by the way. We love the rich dad. All right, so I know I jumped in there a bit. I'm going to be quite attentive to that because I know when Floms talks, they love to hear Floms talk. So I'm not going to interrupt too much. But I want to go.
We went back to back last time.
We did, and they were killing me in the comments. They was like, "Let Flomsie talk."
I disagree with it. You know? I think we was like 21 and Drake. You know what I'm saying?
Same. But all right, cool. So let's go back a bit, to obviously the situation now. How much do you want to touch on it? The whole junior situation. How much do you want to touch on it? Like what the core of it was, because I know one thing I've learned, and I'm not a father, but I've clocked that you touched a whole different audience that related. And I didn't know so many, I think you didn't even know so many dads were going through this. But I know it's a topic that I can't sit here and talk to you and not touch on.
Yeah, no, I'll touch on it because like I said, the reason why I sit here now as a changed man and my priorities are a lot different. And so now it's all about being happy. I just want to be happy every day. These days, I wake up happy. I'm buzzing every single day. And the reason why I want to touch on it is because there are a lot of, going through this situation made me realize that there's a lot of fathers out there that just don't have that are suffering because they're not seeing their children, you know, and they're contemplating suicide. They're drinking, they're on drugs, you know, like these are their outlets. My outlet was, I was just thumb bashing. Luckily, that was my only outlet, you know, but that's why what I'm doing now is doing a foundation for fathers that are going through it so that they don't have to suffer the type of financial expenses that I had to, just to get access to my own flesh and blood.
Yeah.
Just so that I could see my own flesh and blood, you know what I mean? And it's a really deep thing. And listen, with me, I've got funds, I've got money, but all the money in the world couldn't speed it up. You know, it couldn't speed up.
I feel like your world stopped. Like, I feel like after that, when this issue started, I feel like nothing else mattered.
Yeah,
nothing else wasn't mattered. Talking about nothing else.
Nothing else mattered. And the thing is, I was affected financially. So my income dropped massively. Business went to shit, I'd say. Yeah, business went to shit. However, like I said, when we went to the at the in-house event that you hosted, I was laying in bed and a company that I own, an American pension fund, came along and made a life-changing offer and bought the business, you know, and that put me, like that type of transaction would put me in, you know, Forbes would want to interview me for that type of thing. Yeah. And to be honest with you, I'm not going to sit here and say like that I worked hard. I did a lot of hard work there. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. I done 1 day shift there in 3 years. And that 1 day shift was me hosting, getting all of my friends there during the pandemic and throwing a barbecue and doing karaoke. That was my shift. And I just sang. I was just singing my heart out. And that was my only shift there. And listen, 3 years later, the business went and got bought for silly money, you know.
Well, we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. Yeah. Let's hold that one for. Let's park that here. Going back to the junior situation now. So you said business was affected, heavily, and was that because of the fact you weren't focused on it, or you were spending money on the court case and going back and forth?
Okay, so I was spending money on the court case, and also as well, your priorities change because you are now you know, like I've always been a warrior. So if I'm in business, I'm fighting to the death to make my business successful. I'm fighting to the death to produce, to generate income and feed my team. You know what I'm saying? Look after everyone. That's all I've ever done, looked after everyone. And so once I was chasing something that I really love, you know, my son, the money don't matter no more, you know? And so in the end, all I was doing, I was just throwing money at a court case, just throwing money at lawyers.
I feel like you got to the point as well where you're like, I will outspend everyone for this.
Listen, I was willing to, it was, you know, it was, I must have been a headache for, I'm a madman really, because I was willing to lose everything and start again just to get in my son's life.
Yeah.
Like that was so important.
Which is
to
what
me.
I think connected with a lot of fathers out there as well.
That was so important to me, and that's why I set up the foundation. That now that I'm out of the tunnel, that I'm going to really run with, because I needed to make sure that I'm holding this. I've got all the scars all over my body now, and I need to make sure that I wanted to build something where no one else would ever have to go through what I've gone through, you know. And people are going through it every day, and it burns, you know.
Can I ask why you went through it?
Why did I go through it? It's a question that I ask as well. I don't know. Like I don't know, you know. And that's something I'll never get the answer to. I'll never get the answer to. And to be honest, I'm never gonna search for that answer either. But you know, I'm just happy now that I'm in my son's life. I get to see him, and listen, every week I see him. It's like, you know, when you're young and you're doing the countdown to Christmas, you're just waiting for Christmas Day, and you wake up on Christmas Day and you're just happy, you know, when you're young, when you're as a little kid. And that's how it is for me in my adult life now, every time I see my son. So it's just, I'm happy, man.
No, I love
really
that.
Good, yeah.
You see, going through the process, someone who doesn't know you and doesn't understand how you deal with things could have looked at, and you probably get this as well, because people hide behind fake pages, and thought, why are you sharing this with the world? Like, it's so personal. There's sometimes like names of companies, like you are just heart on your sleeve. Now, obviously I get it, because I get you, but a lot of people don't get it. And I've even had people say to me, like, he's a madman. Like, it's just, you know how people are, all the business is kept close, whereas you, is everything. Emails, court dates. If someone was saying to you, which I know someone in your friendship group must have been like, bruv, like, stop putting all that stuff out there. What's your response to that? Like, why do you do that?
So my response always to that is like, and it's always, my response is always the same to people that say it to me, that have said it to me, is that I don't ever question what you do with your life. So don't ever question what I do with my life. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because at the same time as well, it's like, look, you know, some people might say, yeah, you're a madman here, blah, blah, blah. They say all these things. But I'm a madman that's made it. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm a madman that's like living my life to the fullest. You know, even during the worst times of my life, I was still like, I'm still free. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what it's always been about for me. It's about your freedom. It's about being able to wake up in the morning and just do what you want to do.
100%.
You know?
100%.
And like, the money is a bonus, of course, but the ideal situation is to be in a place where you don't even think about the money. You just wake up happy and you're free. You know, if you want to go to the cafe, you're going to go to the cafe and have an English breakfast. If you want to jump on a plane, you're going to jump on a plane and go to Rome or whatever and go and look at the Leaning Tower of
Giza,
whatever.
Giza,
or, you know, like those types of things. And that's why for me, it's always been important to build residual income, because the residual income that allows you to, that's your freedom. Whereas you got two incomes. You got your residual income and you got your income that you work for. The income that you work for, it's like you're a slave for it.
Exchanging time for money.
Yeah, so you're a slave for it. But the residual income, that's the money that's just gonna keep coming.
It's a slave for
coming
you.
and coming. You know, so I always look for like residual income businesses now, where I can But boss, I've done it before. Who sent you up here? Who sent you up here?
All right, cool. So, social media wise, like a lot of people would look at like your social media and think like, "Raw, this guy puts a lot out there."
Yeah.
Like, what's your thoughts on that? What's your thoughts on the fact that realistically, people can know a lot about your life and not know you?
Yeah. I understand. I do understand.
What's your outlook on that?
My view on it is that it's just an outlet. Like, it's just a diary. I'm just writing my own diary. I'm not, when I post stuff or when I tweet or whatever, I'm not trying to get views. I'm just like documenting my life. And so sometimes I'll go over it, I'll review it myself and be like, oh, how did I feel on that day? Why did I feel like that? What was I going through? So it's like I'm studying myself, you know, getting an understanding of myself. But at the same time as well, I'm also aware that the benefits that it does for many other people, because other people are in situations where they think to themselves that they can relate to it. Do you know what I'm saying? They can relate to
100%.
it. So a lot of the time when I'm talking about the past, it's because I can go back to the old times, and then I'm just letting people know that, listen, look, whatever you're going through right now, it's okay. I was also there.
Yeah,
I was also
fact.
confused. I was also trying to make it in life. I was also trying to chase and you know, get to a good point in life of some success. Do you know what I'm saying? So I'm just letting you know that it will happen if you just don't give up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%.
And I always felt like, I always said to myself as well, I always said when I was growing up, I felt like I was in a net. We're all in a net. And the aim of the game is to escape the net. And when people escape the net, majority of the time, they never return. So they never come back to explain to other people how to do it.
Fact.
How that it's possible.
Yeah.
You know, so all of a sudden you're just looking at, you read about these people that have escaped the net, but they didn't tell you how to do it. You know? And so it was always part of the plan to come back and explain to people how to fulfill your.
Do you feel like that's your purpose, would you say?
Yeah, I feel like my purpose is to help people, yeah. I feel like my purpose is to help people, and sometimes like people approach me, and not even sometimes, every day I get approached, and people like they pour their hearts out, you know what I'm saying? Like they say some real deep stuff of just like, listen, you've helped me in this way, you've helped me in that way, I've read this book because of you, this changed my life, that changed my life. And sometimes I sit there, I'm like,
I was just gonna say, let's dive into that, because yesterday you spoke at our in-house event.
Yeah.
And I said to the crowd, I said, do we all know Flomsie? And they was all like, yeah. And I could see it was genuine. You genuinely was taken back, like, how the fuck do they know me?
Yeah.
Like, firstly, I want to ask you something. Like, do you understand how bait you are? Firstly, just want to ask you that. Do you understand how bait you are?
No, I don't, to be honest.
And that's probably because there's no intention behind what you're doing. You don't look at stats, you don't look at figures, you don't look at numbers. Do you have an idea on like your average views or anything like that?
I don't read nothing, don't check nothing. I don't open messages because I got a lot of like anxiety.
Yeah.
So I just get through every day, you know, especially when I was in a dark place. So even like people, sometimes I open some messages and like some people have like been tuned into my life since get paid days.
Yeah.
Some people are only jumping on now. Some people jump on because they hear that there's this guy who drives around in a Lamborghini and flies on private jets and blah, blah, blah. And they're attracted to that, I guess. But yeah, I'm just in my own bubble, you know? So I don't think of that have an impact on anyone's lives.
How did that feel yesterday, seeing everyone say that, or just generally like seeing it? Because you very rarely see it, right? It's the first time you spoke publicly, right?
Yeah. So listen, I've spoke before for Pastor Toby.
Okay.
At one of his events, and listen, he had like there was a lot of people there, But even then, I just curl into a ball, if you know what I'm saying, because I'm not like, I'm a closed book.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I might post and things like that, but I'm a closed book.
Yeah,
I don't let people get close to me, you know, like even, I don't let people get close to me.
Why
I don't know. I think maybe, I don't know, if we could go real deep.
Let's go there, man.
But,
forget the time, man. Let's just do it, man.
Yeah,
Let's
but
go there.
I don't know, just being let down by people, you know, being let down by people. I got a lot of scars on my back, you know, and so because of that, you know, there's a saying that I actually made up, which is, if you lower your expectations of people, then they can't let you down because you always thought they was trash anyway. Do you know what I'm saying? And so when I put faith in someone and they hurt me, whether it's males, females, whatever, friends, relationships, girls, whatever, the way that I always deal with it and get over it so quick is I say, I expected you to do that. I expected you to fail because I never had high expectations of you anyway. And that's a negative.
Defense, man. I was just going to say, it's a defense mechanism, isn't it?
Yeah. But at the same time, it's how you deal with, I guess it's how I deal with my trauma. You know, it's how I create that, be so numb so that it's like, look, like nothing can affect me.
Do you think anyone can like disarm that view?
I'm not sure I understand.
Like, do you think you can?
I'm not sure I understand.
even Siri didn't get that. Do you feel like you could get to that point in life where, like, I don't know, the perfect person come along?
Trust.
Yeah, like trust, love, care, all into one person. You know the cliche, like, love, innit?
Yeah. I think so.
You think it can happen?
Yeah, I think I got that.
No.
I think I might have. I think I might have.
Is it? Yeah? Don't worry, we're not going to dig too deep into that one. We're not going to dig too deep into that one.
Yeah, do I think someone can disarm that? Yeah, my son disarmed that, you know.
Yeah, sick.
He disarmed that because that's one person, that's the one human being that I'm just like, I can give 100% to, you know. And like, he don't want me for nothing. He don't care. I walked him downstairs, and took him to the Lamborghini Urus, and for the first time that he's ever seen it. And he's not jumping up and down. He don't care. You know what I'm saying? He don't care. You know,
it's pure.
You know, so it's just like it's. I like that, man.
Yeah.
I like that. Even though he's young and listen, when he's older, he'll care a lot more. But I'm just glad that I've been able to put things in place for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Going through what you've been through over like the last 2 years, I can sense that, like, similar to myself, the importance of money is gone, and there's more of a focus on purpose, love, happiness, above everything.
Yeah, purpose, love. Listen, money's basically what's happened now is I'm in a position where I can live the rest of my life and not have to worry. All right. So I'm trying to get away from the addiction of success. But at the same time, my main priority
We can't skip past statements like that. When you say addiction of success.
Yeah, so the addiction of just having to just being trapped. I'm trapped. I've been trapped to numbers. This is all just numbers. This is all. If you allow me to swear, can I swear?
Yeah.
This is all fucked. Like, it's all about numbers. Everywhere we go, everywhere we're talking, it's all about numbers. And like, I just don't want to be a part of it no more. You know, that's how I feel. I just don't want to be a part of it no more. I just want to. My new joys, my new excitement, my new buzzes is that it's not driving a Rolls Royce Cullinan. It's going to a trampoline park and just bouncing with my kid. You know what I'm saying? And listen, who knows? Maybe I might snap out of this and be like, nah, you know what? It's all about the money now, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
I've seen money do too many bad things. You know, I've got too many scars on my back. I've had friendships that just, you know, that I thought were friendships, and it turns out they're not friendships. It was just all about the money.
Yeah.
You know, and so I learned a lot in the last 2 years. Who comes and knocks on my door and sees who I am, sees how I am, not the people that I give money to. Do you know what I'm saying? Or not the people that I've earned money with. You know what I mean? So after a while, you just start thinking to yourself, like, you start falling out with people over money. And it's just like, it's all nonsense, man. It's all nonsense. So, like I said, now, you know what really excites me? Investing in people. So like at the moment, I've got a few property developments where people have brought deals to me, and all they've needed is an investor, and I come along as the investor and I put the money up, and we do a profit share. And listen, like I said, I got one that's, you know, when they came, we invested £70,000 into it. And they was supposed to complete the project. It was to turn a 2-bedroom into a 4-bedroom, 2-bedroom house into a 4-bedroom house. They're supposed to complete the project in 4 months. It's been 9 months, and it's still not finished. You know, and you know, sometimes things like that happen. You feel a bit let down.
What do you look for when you say invest in people? Like, we had a conversation off camera.
I'm looking for the next Flomsie. That's what I'm looking for. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So where I get approached by so many people every day, I'm always thinking, are you the next Floms? Are you the next Floms? Because the next Floms will carry me. Do you know what I'm saying? The next Floms will carry me because
that's so true. Yeah, so true.
Because
Yeah.
I'm older now, you know. I'm older now. I'm wiser. I haven't got the you know, listen, because of the pain I went through for 2 years, I got some damage to my head where I struggle to do simple things. I can do the difficult things, anything to do with, like, again, numbers or looking at a business deal and seeing if it makes sense or not, I can do. But the simple things, like as simple as like reading an email, I struggle with. It's crazy, and that's because of I sat around for 2 years just waiting for emails from my lawyers, and that's all that happened for 2 years. Even till this day, I just become obsessed with receiving an email from my lawyer to tell me what the update is on whether or not, how long it's going to take for me to get my life back together. Do you know what I mean? And every time I'd receive an email, it would cost me like £30. And so sometimes I'd receive like 4 emails in a day. That's like £120. Do you know what I mean? And
so is that something you don't like facing anymore? Has it put you off emails?
It kind of, it's like, because I become numb to the expenses of what all of this was costing me.
Yeah.
But all I cared about was having an email from my lawyer. So it was like an addiction.
Yeah.
It was an addiction in the sense that I don't want to pay that money. However, I want to know what they got to say, because my life is all over the place, and I just want to be okay again. You know what I mean? So
it sounds like your life was in they had the power as well. Like you was waiting on them, whereas now you've kind of got the power back.
Yeah, I've got the power back, man.
You know those cringy parts of the YouTube videos where they stop right in the middle and they start to sell you something? This is that part. If you're building a business or building a brand and you want to understand how to make that profitable or learn how to make money from sales, drop me a message. We can work together and I'll help you smash that goal.
I've got the power. I've got the power back, man.
So you mentioned like the friendship thing.
Yeah.
Obviously off camera we spoke a bit briefly.
Yeah.
First, I know you just done a big deal.
Yeah.
Which we'll touch on. But where has that come from? Like, that sounded like there's been friendship issues, big deal. How do they connect?
All right. So what happens is, what I would say is there's always. I'm gonna get wise with this one. So when you're working, everyone has not everyone, because I'll never change. I'm loyal. That's one thing about me. I'm loyal to the core. Like, I wrote a saying. It was, I don't trust whoever doesn't trust me. Yeah. but I'm loyal to whoever's loyal to me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was, I've done a tweet on it. It was even more powerful than that.
Find it.
But yeah, let me give you this one. This was like, I was proud of this one. When I done this, I was actually proud. I was like, oh, sometimes I say things and I'm like, that was good. Do you know what I mean? But let me see it.
You hit them with one. You hit them with one yesterday. You hit them with, what do you do for a living? What do you do for a living? You said, I fell. You said, I fell until I realized how to win.
Yeah. And that's it. Yeah, that's what I said. I said, I trust whoever trusts me and I don't trust whoever don't trust me. Do you know what I'm saying? And I think that's a powerful statement. And the reason why I thought of that is because I was actually relating it to business. That I just had a thought come into my head when I asked someone to invest in something, but I'd been in business with them and we had done many, many deals that had gone really well. And I said to him to invest in something, and he didn't want to invest, which is okay. You don't have to do anything, but he started making up excuses, like silly excuses as to why he wouldn't want to invest. So then I thought to myself, you don't trust me. You know what I'm saying? So then after that, I cut that person off out of my life because I was like, you don't trust me. So because you don't trust me, I can't trust you. So I can't have you around me, you know? But yeah, what did you ask? You said something.
How did it affect that deal?
Okay,
so the
yeah,
deal
so,
with
yeah, so basically, yes,
just
that's
to
what I
give
was
them a
saying.
background.
So what I was saying was every person, and this may not be you, and it's definitely not me, but there's a turning point in every person. There's a number where they will turn, you know? So even like, I've had friends where it was like, I'm like, if they're in control of this number, or if this number's on the table, they will turn.
Yeah.
But then I've got friends where it will be like, listen, it doesn't matter. You can have 50 million on the table. They won't turn.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So because of this deal which was going through, all of a sudden, people started to turn, you know, and it was because of the numbers that was laid on the table.
Yeah.
And people started to turn, and it's that's when you realize, sometimes you end up realizing that they say there's no friends in business. And I always thought to myself, well, the ideal situation is to be doing business with your friends. Yeah. But then you realize that sometimes you're in la la land. It might be a friendship to you, but to other people, it's just business. Do you know what I'm saying? It's all about the numbers. It's all about the numbers. It's just business, you know? And so, you know, I'm at a point now where, you know, I just like to just keep myself to myself. I just enjoy spending time by myself because I've got trust issues. Do you know what I'm saying?
People will look at and hear what you just said, and it will still be, but what's come in place that's allowed you to, because realistically what you've done, and I just want to touch on this, is you've bought back your time. Like I always say to people, my goal is to buy my time back. Once you get to a certain figure or whatever, you can do what you want all the time. And I feel like we're all on a mission to some extent to buy our time back. And you've bought it back. Was that because of the recent deal with the holiday homes, or was that prior to that? Had you already bought it back, or was that like icing on the cake?
Yeah, no, to be honest, like I said, obviously, not even like I said, sorry. Brand therapy, part 1. Me and you were sat in Dubai. We're talking crypto. And I'm telling you how the crypto changed my life. Yeah, and it did change my life.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I was already missing from then. Like I was well. Like,
I was into,
you know what I mean? I could have hanged my gloves up then. You know what I'm saying? So everything I do and it works, whatever, I can always hang my gloves up. I've been able to hang my gloves up for a long time, but I chase deals. You know, that's what I enjoy, chasing deals.
Which is why you got those cameras.
Yeah. Because I can't say no to a deal. So I'm always going to be in the field to just to just get it because I'm hungry. But at the same time, what I want to do now is I want to be that guy that I want to help other people, because now I just want to invest in people, and that's all I'm doing now. So, you know, people come to me. I had a friend, Bad Guy Toba. Yeah. He come to me and he wanted me to invest in a little short Airbnb business. This was 4 months ago. So I invested 21K into it. That's for him to get 3 apartments, right? And he told me that he'll give me my 21K back plus profit. And 3 months later, so basically in the first month, I hadn't received any of my money back, yeah? Second month, I still hadn't received my money back. Then into the third month, he started coming to me, giving me my money back. All of a sudden, when it come to the deadline, he repaid my 21,000. So he transferred me the £21,000 back. And then he also said, by the way, Floms, I'm very grateful for that. That £21,000 that you gave me to get 3 apartments, I've now got 20 apartments. Yeah? And he done that in 4 months. And now he's doing that Airbnb business model. And now I'm like, wow, like I'm looking at him, I'm like, you've actually got some fire in you. You got some, like you know what, like you're serious. You're a serious businessman. You know what I'm saying? Like all you need is you just need to be dressed up a little, you know, like
polish the
dress,
edges.
polish it. And that's what I'm good at doing. Because I'm the type of person, I'm laid back now. I'm not in the field no more. It's like when on your entrepreneurial journey, when you begin it, you are like a gladiator. Yeah. So you're on the battlefield, first out there. You got to fight. You got to attack the enemy. Grab the hostage, take them hostage, bring them back, kidnap them. Do you know what I mean? Turn them into your soldiers now, which is the money. Do you know what I'm saying? So you're just out on the battlefield fighting. But eventually, once you've gone through so many battles and you started winning, now you're like, wait a minute. One, I don't want to die myself, so I can't go out and fight anymore. I'm now becoming like a king, in the sense that, you know, like when you watch Braveheart, the king doesn't go and attack. He sits at the back and he sends the rest out there. Do you know what I'm saying? And so you have to be at that point, eventually on your entrepreneurial journey, you get to the point where you're not going out onto the battlefield anymore because you don't want to take no risks. You don't want to lose no money. You don't want to get wiped out. Just go and get yourself liquidated, you know? And so you have to start making smarter decisions, you know, because
100%.
you don't ever want to go back to your roots. You don't ever want to go back to where you was coming from, you know? And so to make those smart decisions, it's about picking the right bets. And those bets are the individuals of, all right, who's going to be the right person to invest in. And so it's like throwing a bone out, just a little test. Let me see how they perform, you know? And so like, listen, Bad Guy, done that. After that, I was like, wow, you've actually, like, you're serious. From there now, I'm like, listen, let's do a concierge company, you know, because I got an American Express black card. With American Express, you get the concierge, which gets you name it, they can do it. So then I'm all of a sudden, I'm like, well, listen, look, let me create a synergy with American Express concierge, Toba. We set up a concierge. Any bookings that we need, anything that we need, we become client facing, take those orders and just throw it straight to American Express and say, American Express, sort this out for us. Do you know what I'm saying? And so,
do you think you'll ever get to the stage where because I can tell you love the game, you love the hustle, like you don't have to do none of this. You just love the process. Like when you talk about it, do you think you're ever gonna get to a stage where you're actually like, look, I'm me, Junior, house out in the country, like, can you see that?
Do you know what? It's mad you say it, man, because like, mad you say it because I also do a lot on Twitter. I always talk my visions, and like one of my visions was like one day I just wanna just be on the just jump on a plane and fly far away into somewhere that's really hot. Just dip my toes in the sand and have nothing with me, and just, you know, just jump on a little boat and just go out into the middle of the ocean and that's it. Like that's my my peace. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, man, that's my peace. Like, can I ever hang my gloves up and just do that? And I don't know. Even like now with my situation with my son, it's not the greatest of situations. I'm not proud of it, you know, and it's difficult, you know. Like one day I'd love to take my son on a holiday. How do I even do that? I can't even do that. I need to, you know, and you know, one day I think, like every day I always think about little things. I always think like, could I ever forgive what's been done to me? Because for the love of my son, could I forgive what's been done to me? Like it would be nice for me to be able to say, you know, even like just to fund a holiday for my son to go on with the other side of his family, you know, with his mum and that, you know, and just...
You'd want it to be like in an ideal world, that peace is what you want amongst the mum, the family as well.
Yeah, like not with me. I would listen. I would not with me, but just
with your son.
Yeah, just for my son.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So I live through my son now.
Yeah, of course.
So that's why I'm a lot more like laid back now, because I'm like, listen, I don't even need nothing. I don't even go shopping anymore. I don't go shopping. I don't buy nothing for myself. I don't want nothing. I've just reached that place of content.
Fulfilled, isn't it?
Yeah. That's how I am. That's how I am now. So.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna finish on this. Obviously, as much as we've definitely found a lot more fulfillment from Junior, etc. There's obviously still, let's say there's businesses in the background, but there's obviously, so I feel looking from the outside, I may be wrong, but getting to the point of you selling the holiday homes was almost like, kind of like a tap out. Like you're still in, as we're discovering now with Toba and stuff, but I don't know, it feels like, you know, like when Jay-Z said he was going to retire.
You know what, that's exactly what it was.
You know when Jay-Z said he was going to retire?
That's exactly what it is. That was my tap out.
Yeah, I can tell.
That was my tap out. And so now it's like, even like with the whole crypto stuff, I'm not really mainly interested anymore. Like I've got my holdings.
Yeah, you're still holding, yeah?
Yeah, I'm still holding. So I've got all my holdings. But I don't research it. I'm just long term. I understand that things go up and they go down. Yeah, so everything's a roller coaster. However, eventually it all just goes up. Yeah. So inflation, like everything just goes up eventually. So as long as you hold your position, I just think everything just turns out. And I even say with like property,
that's how it applies to life.
Yeah, that's exactly why I just went on to say that. I said it's a property because it's that I could buy a deal, I could buy a property, and it might not be a good deal now. But in 5 years, it's proven it's gonna go up. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So you're gonna be in a better position regardless, you know. So
let's touch on that. Let's touch on the holiday home situation. Like I know there's only so much you can speak about, but for those who don't know, because you haven't really spoke much about it.
Yeah, so people didn't even know. Like I am the first black man in the world to ever own a holiday.
Is this fact? It's fact.
I'm saying, listen, it's bold. Listen, let's fight. If there's anyone else, then let them rise their head.
So to anyone out there, if you're a black man and you own a holiday home, like drop me a message, because at the moment we're saying this. So
I'm the first ever black man. This is like my little Kanye moment. You know what I'm saying? It's my little Kanye. I'm the first
Soulja
ever.
Boy moment.
Yeah. I'm the first ever black man to ever own a holiday park. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I didn't even promote it. You know.
But you did speak about it because I knew, and it was from you.
Yeah.
I think maybe a few years back. Because I remember you used to go there, you used to snap it, you showed it, like very rarely, but I remember you did. Yeah. And you spoke about how important it was to you from a sentimental point.
I named a road, one of the roads, I named it after my son.
Okay.
Do you know what I'm saying? So when it got sold, I named it after my son. Even like when I do any development that I do, because there's a situation where my son, it was just mad, man. So my son, I wasn't like, he was named a name as an attack on me. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, it was an attack. Like, so he's named a name just to attack me. A name that I can never I just don't call him by that name. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So what I do now is every business that I do, any projects that I do, I always factor in the name Junior, whatever into it, Junior. And so that is for that in the years to come, when he's older, and he takes control of everything. He understands that his dad done all of this for him. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, that was how that is. But yeah, business wise, listen, like the holiday park, that was like my tap out. However, I'm trying to get back in. I'm trying to get my mojo back.
So you want to go back into business?
Yeah, because like I still have businesses that need me. So yeah,
you got
I got a company in Dubai, called Rockefeller Zone, rfz.ae, which specializes in like company corporation. So if you want to move to Dubai, you need to get a residency, set up a business account, things like that. We specialize in that. And the reason I've done that business is, again, it's all about people. So I met a guy, he was already working for a company. He was from Pakistan. He was working for a company, and I met him, but it was my friend from Canada that trusted this person. And my friend from Canada had a successful business, and they was working together anyway. And he set up his Dubai entity. So we became close because I would always meet my friend from Canada. He's in the military. He's in the military business. So I'd always be like running around Dubai with him. He's an older guy. He's must be about late 50s. Yeah, late 50s. So I'll be rolling around Dubai with him, meeting all these like colonels and generals and people that were Americans that were in like the Iraqi war, not Iraqi war, sorry, that was in the war with like, went to Iraq, and like they was in like wars in 1996 and things like that. Like these are all old guys. I'm sitting on the table like, wow, you're listening to this old, like telling old school stories about when they fought in this war, fought in that war. And I was just like, wow. So anyway, so they had a military, it was military defense is what they do. And so they took me to an office, and they had this Pakistani guy there. And the business, I took a liking into him. So me and this guy became close because I was just surprised by how knowledgeable he was and how professional he was. And one day I said to him, because we stayed friends for years, and one day I said to him, I said, like, you're really good at this business. Like, is there money in it? And he said, yeah, there's big money in it. I said, there's big money. I said, okay. I said, so why aren't you doing it yourself? He said, the problem is that coming from where I'm coming from, Pakistan, you know, it's real hard. It's not like how you are in the UK, you get your benefits and so on. We don't get none of that, you know. So I've come from the slums. It's been hard for me to get here. And so, you know, I need security. And not just that, but how would I ever get the money to set up a business, you know? So I said to him, okay. I said, well, I'm gonna fund you. I'm gonna fund your business for a whole year. All the office, your salary of the staff, everything. I'll fund it for 1 year. You tell me how much is needed, do a business plan. I'll put the money in for 1 year. We run the business. And if the business doesn't, after a year, if it doesn't work out, then I'm sorry. You go back to whatever we tried, and that was it. And he said, yeah, all right, let's go for it. And we done it. And that was in 2020. It was probably just
That was
before,
when you came,
when we done the podcast.
Yeah.
So when we done the podcast, and 21, and it we opened, and it's just grown and grown. And now we got 18 staff out there. We got a nice big office, got a big boardroom. It's everything that I visioned, everything that I dreamed of. And I had that vision when I always refer to Jay-Z. Jay-Z had an advert of him being in a boardroom and he was doing this Rockefeller sign and he was flipping things like that. And I remember watching that when I was about 17 years old. And I thought to myself, I need to be like that. I want a boardroom. I want to be able to walk into my boardroom. I want to have staff that know my name and things like that and talk it out. Like, and don't get me wrong, I do that in the UK anyway. But to do it in Dubai is just like, it's like, wow. Like I really, really did fucking, I ticked all the boxes. Do you know what I'm saying? And again, as well, when I say this, it's like, I'm not trying to prove anything to no one but myself. I don't try and prove nothing to no one but the person that I see when I look in the mirror. That's the only person I need approval from, because that person, the person who I see in the mirror is what decides how my day's going to go, whether I'm going to be high, whether I'm going to be low. Do you know what I'm saying? Anyone else's opinion don't mean shit. Lions don't lose sleep over the opinions of sheep. Do you know what I mean? And so now, like that model as well, in regards to like how the business went through Dubai, and now the business in Dubai is self-sufficient and it's only growing. And again, I never wanted, my plan with that business, the reason why I said I'll fund it for a year, I won't stress the business, won't try and get my money back, nothing. Reason being is because my next plan, all right, so my new plan, and this is why even when we speaking, I'm saying it's all about the people. It's all about the people. People, networking.
100.
Because even like the holiday park that sold, I never come up with the idea of a holiday park. But it was people, networking. Turning up to a football pitch and watching some kids train, and I'm sat on the sideline with the parents, and a conversation there led to this business, which led to selling the business, which led to my partner, who was in the business, has now moved to America with his family and lives in Florida now, and he's living the dream. You know, he took his money and he jetted, and he's the type of guy that he's more content. He's more aware than me. He's more woke.
He's tapped out fully.
So he's just tapped out. But don't get me wrong, he's gone over to America and he's opened up he's bought a business. I think he's doing like kebabs. Selling kebabs, because listen, he's sat on a load of money and he don't ever have to work again for the rest of his life. So he's just running a little business there. Even if the business breaks even, that's good enough for him. He's a very he's a traveler, and he's very he's humble. You know what I'm saying? So he'll stretch that money for the rest of his life. And listen, my money, I'll stretch that for the rest of my life too. But like I said, my billionaire plan, I've got a billionaire plan now, and my billionaire plan is built around the company in Dubai, which is why, like I said to you, the business, it sets up businesses for people outside of the UAE to open up their business in the UAE.
And then potentially...
What that creates for me is a black book. With that black book, when you open the black book, it says all of your contacts, what businesses they have, how much the businesses are making. We're just forming relationships. We have about 300 clients now. So that's 300 different clients running different businesses all over the world. So then when an opportunity comes to me and they're like, oh, it might be looking for oil or gas or minerals or whatever, I can say, oh, yeah, all right, I'll send a message. Who have we got for this? Who have we got for that? You know, I went to a meeting because I'm a member at like a private members club in London, like a really popular one. And even then, when I got the membership, it's funny because I always doubt myself. I proper doubt myself in everything, because same way that I said, like, why do all these people like know me? Like, why do they know me? Same way when I got accepted for the membership at this private members club, I was like, that's a bit weird. I left the place thinking I got no chance. Like, why would they want me? So I need to like kind of start rating myself
more. Stop dimming your light, man.
I just need to start rating myself a lot more. But yeah, because of like, you know, I might come across on Snapchat and so on and Instagram as like confident. But I'm not. You know what I mean? But so I had a meeting the other day in the private members club. There was this woman that come to meet. She's from Ukraine. She's got a really successful company that's doing like stupid numbers, like life-changing numbers. And it was my friend from Kazakhstan that arranged the meeting. So my friend from Kazakhstan wanted me to meet this woman from Ukraine, and he was like, listen, Floms, I need you to meet her. Like, you can do business. And even then I'm sitting there thinking, like, why does my friend from Kazakhstan rate me like this? Like, why do you want me? Like, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, so we sat at a meeting and she told me, I said, so what do you need? She done her pitch, she told me, and she's very successful. Her business is up there. I said, so what do you need? She just told me what she needs. And then straight away, I'm just like, I take it to my hub. My hub is in Dubai. I send the message, I form a WhatsApp group and I say, let's get a Zoom call together. We have a meeting and we see if we can dance together or not. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, sick, 100%.
And that's why I say your net worth is determined by your network.
If you do something with it.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
the thing what people often miss, because you could have a phone book full of numbers, but the difference with you is you join the dots. A lot of people just know people. Do you know what I'm saying? You know people, but you join the dots.
100%. So if you do something with it, and that's great that you say that, because that is like me, for example. I now come along and I say to people, I'm like, listen, you got the network, I'll create.
Go on.
You got the network, I'll create your net worth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so like even like now I've got a private chef, proud to say. But I got a private chef, it's called the Big Chef.
Yeah.
And he's got like, he cooks for all the footballers, all Premiership footballers, cooks for all the footballers. And I'm sitting there, he come to mine the other day and we're just talking and I said to him, because he's saying like, he's ambitious, like he wants to go places. And I'm saying to him, listen, you can go places. You're not a chef.
Yeah.
You're bigger than that. You're not just a chef. You are a businessman. You can be anything you want.
Yeah.
And so after talking to him, I'm saying, listen, look, because obviously I do some work with some footballers as well. My very good friend Pavida, who's at Leeds, so we do a lot of business together as well. And that's how I know the chef. That's how I know the Big Chef. And what I was explaining to the chef was that you you cook for these players. So these players trust you because you feed them. So they trust you. You're the one that feeds them. They trust you. So you need to start working on those relationships, and you need to be able to feed those relationships into the right people to generate you income
100%.
other than just being a chef. So like other than that, now also I'm doing like football agency as well. So I took a course. It's called the John Viola course.
You ain't tapped out, man.
Yeah, I'm not really tapped out.
Bro.
Yeah.
You just hit us with 3 more things.
Yeah. So you know what it was? Listen, I was laid up in bed. I was laid up in bed. I was depressed. You know what I mean? But my legs weren't working. But I was still banging out my phone. Even though I was banging out with my thumbs, getting like going crazy on Twitter, and Instagram and Snapchat and everything else. But I was still like, I still knew like people were counting me out, because of people wanting me, they was loving me suffering. Yes, he's not seeing his son. You know what I'm saying? Yes,
100%,
they was cheering on me. So I was always in the back of my mind, I'm like, listen, don't you worry, Flomsie will be back. You know what I'm saying? So, and listen, like I said, like, if they didn't like me now, if they didn't like me then, they definitely shouldn't like me now.
I'm gonna cut you there. Yeah, I hate cutting floms, but we have to today again. I hate it.
Yeah, no, because we're gonna do a brand therapy free anyway. So.
My brother, But we need to do a documentary or some shit. Now, listen, on a serious note, always a pleasure catching up with you, bro. And I love the space you're in, man. Genuinely, I love the space you're in. I feel like every time we catch up, like, bro, in 5 years we probably will. I can't lie, when we do the Flomsie doc, come to us first.
100%.
But honestly, appreciate it. Obviously, to anyone who's thinking about moving to Dubai, Rockefeller's the company, will promote that a lot more anyway. We obviously spoke about that off camera. But bro, like, keep pushing, man.
Yeah, and also I just want to say as well, like, you should be proud of yourself. Like everything that you're doing, what you're building, the professionalism. What I saw yesterday was inspiring. Do you know what I'm saying? And
thank you,
like you're one of those people that you just keep on going. Do you know what I'm saying? You just keep on going. Like, man, you should be really proud of yourself because it inspires me. Like, listen,
likewise,
like
bro.
I say, like both of us have a lot of people that like to fucking. I'm swearing, sorry. But like to talk shit. I'm swearing again.
Cut the crap.
But both of us, like we have a lot of people that with opinions, and I get it. But I can't be in a room of people that just want to talk opinions.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So I just wanted to say, like, be proud of yourself, and I believe what you're doing at the moment, I think it's gonna go through the roof. So, you know, it's going through the roof, but it's definitely gonna go through the roof. What you've got now, and the model that you're building, and how you're doing it so organic, and the team that you got behind you who are so solid and professional, like it's frightening, to be honest with you. I'll be real, it's frightening because I sit there and I think, shit, like, I need control of that. You know what I mean? Like I said to you, when I said yesterday, I said, listen, I'm the type of person where if I see something, I'm like, oh, wait a minute, they're onto something, I need to get it. You know what I'm saying? And listen, this is
I appreciate it, bro. You've supported my stuff for years, bro.
Yeah.
Like even from Grow Daily, you said a lot of stuff to me back then. So appreciate it, man. Like likewise, bro. Like even stuff you said today, I'm thinking, that little network, I need to start getting my clients in that position as well. So I appreciate it, bro. Likewise, man.
And also as well, sorry, like I'm not trying to like teach or anything like that, but I'm just saying with what you're building now and the people that you're gonna bring through the door, make sure, because you can add so much value to them just by bringing people to them to dress up what they're doing, whether that's me or anyone else. Make sure you get your shares. Do you know what I'm saying? Make sure you get your shares and make sure that you have a lawyer that does that contract, and those contracts are bomb-proof. Do you know what I'm saying? And this year is gonna be your year. So
my guy, respect, bro. Real talk, respect, bro. We out. You heard it here. Stay subscribed, like and share. If you haven't noticed, we switched location. We're in Flomsie's crib now. We was upstairs. They told us to cut the crap, so we had to come downstairs. But it don't matter, because we make shit happen. Because what we do, we pivot. But now on the real, Flom's always a pleasure. For anyone who has watched this episode to the end, comment and let us know the biggest takeaway, because it was a bit of a different episode. I would say this was more therapy, if anything, as it always is when I link Floms, Comment below, like, share, and subscribe. We out. Peace!